Let's call on our starting lineup from our Adamson Lady Falcons. Wearing jersey number 2, Maria Paulina Soriano. At number 3, Sheila Marie Pineda. Wearing jersey number 5, Luisa May Zapanta. At number 9, Faye Janelle Guevara. Wearing jersey number 10, Angelica Kinlo. And at number 14, May Jennifer Macatuno. Libero, number 1, Angelica Vasquez. Head coach, Miss Minerva Dulce Pante. Calling on our starting lineup from our University of the Philippines, Lady Maroons. At number 2, Lizelle Chu. Wearing jersey number 5, Angeli Pauline Araneta. At number 7, Joyce Antoinette Halad. Wearing jersey number 8, Pauline May Henido. At number 16, Princess May Se. Wearing jersey number 17, Southland Ramos. Libero, number 10, Bea Dian Cuevas. Head coach, Mr. Jarod Ubalde. Good luck to both teams.
Once again, thank you so much to everybody watching on Studio 23. This is our exclusive ABS-CBN sports coverage of Season 74 of the Women's Volleyball Tournament of your UAAP All Out, All Heart. I'm Anton Rojas at courtside, joined by Ivy Remulla as we take a look at the University of the Philippines Lady Maroons, who are looking to notch their first victory after losing to NU in the first game of the tournament last Saturday.
This would be for both teams, this would actually be a vie for the first win in this season, because as we've mentioned earlier, Adamson also lost against LaSalle in the first game for this season.
LaSalle, as I mentioned a while ago, had 4 ladies in double digits, while on the other hand, Adamson only had 13 points from Pau Soriana and 10 points from Sheila Marie Pineda. We are underway. This is the first set of UP and Adamson. Araneta taps it over the double block. Ball is still playable here.
Excellent blocking being shown by the Lady Maroons.
And Soriano just able to send that one over to the other side, but point for UP.
Good start for the Lady Maroons. And I think one of the key things that the Lady Maroons should keep up for the entire game would be their blocking. It would definitely be a big help for them, especially if they can stop Pau Soriano with her quick attacks.
According to Coach Jarod Ubalde, this year they're a much smaller team as compared to their team last year. So blocking isn't really one of their main assets, but like you mentioned, they're going to need that when you have excellent spikers on the other side, like Soriano, as you mentioned.
That's Araneta.
Joust at the top.
That was won by UP. Net violation called against Adamson.
That's Zapanta, who actually did not start in their first game against De La Salle University. She came off the bench in the second set and then started the third and the fourth set. With the departure of Angela Binting, of course, the Lady Falcons have a new team captain, si Angelica Kinlo. Let's get our first courtside update right now on the side of UP with Tiff Atendido.
Thank you, Anton. I bet everyone is wondering what happened to UP last Saturday against NU. Well, I talked to Coach Gerald and he told me we did not play our game, na wala lahat ng pinractice, and the girls were just not in the zone. So today, up against Adamson, Coach Gerald is just expecting the girls to execute and apply what they've been practicing. For Coach, this game must be approached more on a psychological aspect more than anything. So mental toughness for the Lady Maroons is the biggest challenge for today. Anton and Ivy.
Thank you, Tiff. Well, one thing they must not do is fall behind early, which is what happened in their first game. Perhaps some opening jitters, Ivy. You've been a player before. What's the feeling when when you start a brand new season in the UAAP, is there a little pressure that player must deal with, and how do you overcome that?
Well, there is always pressure, you know, regardless of what standing you were previously. Of course, if you were at the bottom, you really want to go up. If you're at the top, you'd like to maintain that. So the pressure will always be there no matter what, especially if it's the first game. And usually, you know, one of the things that really affects the players for the first time is, you know, if this is the first, you would be the benchmark, if you may say, of how the team or how the rest of the teams could perform. So the first opinions, of course, will depend on how you guys play or how you might perform for the rest of the season.
Zapanta tosses it over. It is now with UP. Araneta gets roofed. That's a point for Adamson University. Time now to go to Victor Lopez for his report on the Lady Falcons.
Yeah, as you guys mentioned a while ago, both teams are coming into this game losing their first assignment, and that is exactly the motivation that Coach Pante wants the girls to use in order to win today's game. Now, do we really want to start our season with 2 straight losses? You know, we can't stumble this early. So if you don't want that to happen, then let's do all we can to go home with a W today and take our first steps towards bigger things. Anton?
Thank you, Victor. Of course, Adamson University, Ivy, coached by one of the most lovable coaches here in the world of women's volleyball in our country, Minerva Dulce Pante, who is actually in her 47th year of coaching here in our country.
So we can see how seasoned, when everybody calls her, Pante calls her Mommy Dulce because she's really been here for a long, long time. So she's been like a mother to a lot of players. And I think, you know, the experience also that she has really contributes a lot. Why Adamson has always been there at the top 4 every time, every season.
Mami Dulce Pante has been the head coach of these Lady Falcons since 1996. But she is an alumna of UE, University of the East, and won a couple of championships as a player for UE as well. And won a title as a head coach also for UE.
2 with a soft hit. That's off the block. You know, you've mentioned earlier that the coach of UP said that they have a smaller lineup as compared to before. But I think the lineup that they have right now can still manage to defend the net. You know, it's just a matter of timing and a matter of reading the opponent.
There's the new captain of Adamson, Angelica Kinlog.
Good save from the libero, but unfortunately, no help from the rest of the team.
7-6 in favor of the University of the Philippines Lady Maroons. Once again, thank you to everybody watching on Studio 23. Southlyn Ramos serving it up for the Lady Maroons. South Ramos also another player on the side of UP whom a lot is expected from. Of course, with the departure of those key players that I mentioned a while ago. No more Mela Lopez, no more Amanda Isada, but we saw her as a assistant coach now, member of the coaching staff. And also Eileen Quejas, no longer with UP as well.
That was outside, but the touch was called by the linesman. Last touch from UP. The point now goes to Adamson. This is a tight first set that we have here, and I think both teams really had it mentally. They're both prepared physically. They prepared well for the game, and this is going to be a good match.
We did mention that the expectations of this game is that both teams are motivated not to suffer a second straight defeat here, but only one of them will notch their first victory. Makatuno pops it up.
That goes off the block.
Oh.
And it looks like that.
And we have a lady in maroon on the floor right now. We do not like this sight. We have to take a break. We'll be back. Adamson up by 1, 8-7. We're back inside the Blue Eagle Gym inside the Ateneo de Manila University campus. Thank you to everybody watching on Studio 23. This is our exclusive ABS-CBN sports coverage of the women's volleyball tournament of the UAAP. And right before we headed into the break, a player from UP went down. That's Princess May Se. After she went up to try for a block, and I think might be a sprained right ankle. Maybe we can find out from Tiff later on. Tiff is giving us the thumbs up. Good job, Tiff.
But well, of course, we hope that everything is okay. And that's actually a very too early to have an injury at this point.
Very unfortunate. But play will resume here as Faye Guevara of Adamson University gets ready to serve this ball up. Faye Guevara is actually a returnee to this Adamson squad. Was not part of the lineup last year. And the referee's discussing something here. Ivy, for all the viewers, what is the referee discussing here with the UP team?
I think the referee right now is actually trying to arrange out the positioning to make sure that all the players are in the right area as before. The same area, just when we initially stopped the game because of that injury.
All right, so that has been cleared out. Faye Guevara serving it up here. Q. Makatuno pops it up.
Good block from the Lady Maroons.
And Lady
Smart
Maroons,
move.
Q unable to get to that volleyball in time.
That was an excellent hit from Lady Falcons. That goes to show that you don't really need to execute always a strong attacks. If you just know where the vacant spot is in your opponent's court, it's very easy to score a point.
That was scored by Sheila Marie Pineda, who had 10 hits in their first game of the tournament.